What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993. I am back up here again for my second and most likely final live review of today. I'm thinking I'm going to have to keep SmackDown till tomorrow, unless if I get time very late tonight, but who knows. So this is my live review of this week's episode of NXT, the January 20th, 2021 edition of NXT. It took place, as always, at the Capitol Wrestling Center. We had the continuing and almost the wrap-up of the first round of the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but we also had the beginning of the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I will try to recap the bracket at the end of the show for both the men's and women's, because apparently it wasn't brought to my attention until I came across it today. Apparently, they're using 205 Live right now to continue the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics for both the men and the women. I don't care because I'm not watching 205 Live. I'm not giving in to 205 Live. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. So I'll just look at the brackets and give the results what's going on. But apparently we're doing that to get more attention on the purple brand. Here's my simple solution. Get rid of 205 Live, because it doesn't need to exist. If you're having the cruiserweights on NXT now, which I like, that don't have 205 Live. Because some guy named Kurt Stallion showed up on this show, and I had no clue who he was. I had no clue. We'll talk about it. NXT was decent this week. I had problems with the results of the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic for this week. I had a problem with those results, which we'll talk about that in the next in this video, of course. Everything else was fine. It wasn't really another knock my socks off episode of NXT. Like I said, as I continue to say, I'm sure you're all tired of all hearing this, how NXT just isn't, again, just needs the real audience back. If you haven't seen it yet, check out my special stream I did like a week or two ago about what went wrong with NXT in 2020 and how we could fix it. So, of course, you can check out that video to talk about that. So, we're still need to fix those things in NXT, but at least it's not Monday Night Raw, that's for sure. So, let's talk about this episode. I don't know if I'm going to be up here as long as I was for my AEW review, because I definitely didn't expect a 42-minute video from that. Trust me, I did not think I was going to be talking about that show for 42 minutes. But, let's talk about NXT and go over what happened on this show. We opened up with, first we got hype for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic matches on the show for the men's and the women's, with Beth Phoenix being the one to introduce the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And our main event is the Fight Pit between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. So the first match of the show was in a first round match for the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was Kushida and Leon Ruff taking on The Ways, Johnny Gargano, and Austin Theory. I get the fact that the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, they tried to make it unpredictable. I remember, I think it was for the TNT Championship Tournament for AEW last year. I remember a flaw I had with that was the fact that there was a lot of rematches and a lot of matches we've already seen, or very predictable ones. I get that the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, they have these first round matches that could be more so like later in the show, in the tournament matches, to make it a little more unpredictable. I get that. But there still comes... It's pros and cons each way. I didn't like the fact that Kushida and Leon Ruff won this match. And it's because I continue to say this, and you heard me rant about it in my top 5 special last week of least improved, underutilized, and most improved wrestlers. How Johnny Gargano is continuing to be booked as one of the most unsuccessful heels in the company. Like, I thought about this last night after I watched SmackDown. I watched the newest episode of Law and Order SVU. What makes those episodes so good to me, like the good episodes, of course, that is that The one who ends up being the criminal is written so well because it shows that you're throwing obstacles at them and they're able to counter back at it to avoid being put to jail or have being an open and shut case right on the spot. And then in the end, what makes it good is when the ones that were harmed by the criminal, they get their comeuppance. Like an example I like to talk about a lot. A good, and this is not like a face and heel lecture for me. There's an episode, I think it was the season 2 premiere. One of the criminals in the ends up being a guy who was played by the same guy who played Uncle Frank in Home Alone. That guy, I thought, did a beautiful job. Who's president of some big company doing classified work for the government. He did an excellent job being that guy who just felt he could be untouched. And, he proved that he could be untouched and not easy to be beaten. And then once a little loophole was found, boom, he was in jail. That's what the problem we had with Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano, for crying out loud, has obstacles thrown at him, and he looks like an idiot trying to overcome them because, he can't. And it makes him just an easy peasy heel to beat. Like, don't make him like a cheap Baron Corbin heel. It's time, again, we just throw in the towel with Johnny Gargano as a heel. It's not working. Again, I get it. The crowd was not reacting to him as much. I get it. This is a whole different thing. You want to know how he should be booked right now? Is like Finn Balor. We'll talk about him shortly in a little bit as well, as though I'm confused about his character as well. Johnny Gargano, well, okay, I'll get a little bit of a sneak peek of that. Finn Balor, to me, is being booked like Becky Lynch, where it's like she's not meant to be like a goody. I don't know what the heck Finn Balor is. Is he still a heel, or is he a babyface? To me, I'm going to call him a tweener. Johnny Gargano should be booked more like a tweener, and not just a full-on heel, because it's not working. And the fact that, again, that this way stable with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory lost in the first round of the... I mean, I get it. They're probably setting up for the match with Johnny Gargano and Kushida at TakeOver 33. But the fact that, again, he can't do anything as a heel just drives me insane. And him losing this first round match crawled under my skin when I saw the results. So Leon Ruff and Kushida are advancing. They're going to take on... I mean, I get it. They're going to take on the grizzled young veterans next. I get it. They're my team to beat. They're my pick to win this tournament. Or maybe another team that got established out of the blue tonight in the post-show interviews. But, geez, oh man, can they for once just get Johnny Gargano right? Like, again, how does he go? I mean, he doesn't have to be world champion. He doesn't have to be, winning all of his matches. But he has to be at least feel credible. And not like a directionless laughingstock. Because, again, as I said before, how do you take a beloved babyface, a beloved purebred babyface, and make him one of the most unsuccessful heels I've ever seen booked? I'm sorry. It drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. I'm sorry. So, The Way loses to start off. Then we get this really nice video package with Pete Dunne, talking about how him and Finn Balor have had similar roles coming up. But what happened to Finn? Finn left, went to the main roster, and Pete Dunne stayed and built a brand, as he's one of the founding fathers of NXT UK. And when Finn told him to get in line for a title shot, he felt insulted. He said he felt insulted, so he doesn't wait. And Balor claims that he doesn't watch the business, but Pete Dunne knows he watches him. And they'll both be remembered in history, but Dunne will be remembered better. So a nice story there to segue, as again, it looks like we are doing. I still think they should have done this match at New Year's Evil. Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. Because I think they should have done, because for now, Karrion Kross, who should be NXT champion by now, he's going to basically just be doing just random matches. Like, I'm just saying, wasn't the victory over Damian Priest enough to, give Kross his title shot back against Balor? But I nitpick there. I'm still looking forward to this match, and I'm glad. Even though I felt they should have have done a New Year's Evil instead of doing another match with Balor and O'Reilly, which again, I don't get why they did a rematch if O'Reilly was not going to win. I do think this match with Balor and Dunn is really going to deliver. I'm very looking forward to that match. That is also definitely a match I've wanted to see for a long time. Finn Balor and Pete Dunne. So we got that. Then it was also announced that Kyle O'Reilly is cleared for action after the injuries he suffered against Balor, and we also learned that Karrion Kross will be in action too. But during the break, we see Malcolm Bivens walk in the hallway, and he's interviewed, and he hypes up Tyler Rust as the future. We then see Russ leave the GM's office and says he got here early, but he didn't want to wait, so he went in and got the match. He's facing Bronson Reed later on in the show. And Bivens says that's not the direction he would have gone in a whisper to Russ, then switches back into hype man mode and talks up the match between Reed and Rust. So we'll see where that happens. Karrion Kross then squashes Ashante Adonis, and I guess what's his name now? It's in the men's bracket here. Where was it? Desmond Troy comes out to check on Ashante Adonis because they were supposed to be tag partners in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This actually wrote them out. They're no longer in the tournament. And who replaced them? You will never guess. I'll explain who does later on in the show. Make sure that's nothing emergency. Nope, nothing. Anyways, set my phone over here. Shouldn't have kept it in my pocket. Anyways, though. So Kross squashes him. We have a video package to hype up MSK with Nash Carter, and I forgot what the other guy's name is. They hyped. They're being hyped up. Ember Moon puts them over as one of the most innovative teams in the world over snippets of their Fallout video from last week, and they vow to win the cup. Seemed interesting. When I watched the highlights from their match, I believe they took on Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas. Definitely interests me. I'll see where it goes with them. I believe that in the next round, which I'll go over in a second, I believe the next round are taking on Drake Maverick and Killian Dane, who defeated August Gray and Kurt Stallion in the first round. So they'll take on MSK in round 2 of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. We also get Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm getting a quick promo and say it doesn't matter that their Dusty Cup opponents tonight are best friends, as they're going to be taking on Casey Catanzaro and Kate Carter. They're two tough women who just like hurting people. And here's the second match that pissed me off. We got Lucha House Party defeating Imperium. First off, why in the hell is Lucha House Party here in NXT? Why are they in this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? I mean, I get it. We had a match with Grand Metalik and Santos Escobar. Cool, but why? Why did they have to defeat Imperium? Like, a team that's literally built on a dominant stable, the most dominating stable in NXT UK right now, and they lose to Lucha House Party. I didn't like that. That's another thing I didn't like about the show. I did not like the fact that Imperium lost to, of all people, Lucha House Party. And then afterwards, Alexander Wolf shows up and Imperium stare him down. So I guess they're reunited in some ways, even though Wolf is still in NXT UK. I have started watching NXT UK. I'm in December now, so once I get caught up with those, I will do a review on those within the next week or so of what's going on with NXT UK. So I don't know what's going to be next to them. I can't believe they lost to Lucha House Party. Like what a disappointment. Literally one of the teams I was hyping up to win the Classic last year. And, yeah, what a disappointment that was. That was an insult to me there. We then see Regal and Beth Phoenix introduce hyping up the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They hype up, women from the past, say like, hey, you guys want this to happen, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then we have our first match, which is Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez taking on Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. So, I know I said earlier about I ranted about the Way losing their first round match. I didn't expect Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm to win this first. I expected them to win this match. And I thought they would go a long way with them being dominating heels. But the way they protected both of them, and the moment for Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, I'm happy. I'm happy for Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. Both those two women I have a lot of respect for, especially Casey Catanzaro. And so, I guess the way it was protected was during the match, Io Shirai came out, which, okay, this confused me a little bit. Who the heck is feuding with Io Shirai? Is it Toni Storm? Is it Raquel Gonzalez? Is it Mercedes Martinez? Because if so, then what was the point of, one, turning Toni Storm heel, even though it should have been that way? Two, what was the point of Raquel Gonzalez pinning Io Shirai at War Games? And three, Mercedes Martinez just got back and she immediately targets Io Shirai. So Io Shirai returns since the first time since Mercedes Martinez attacked her, and Io takes out Mercedes Martinez. So it's 2-on-1 as Caden Carter was held down Toni Storm with some type of like a scissors tech submission. Casey Catanzaro. Now, I've seen Casey do some moves, and she's good. But this one, this was new to me. This was a shocker, and this one definitely, like, when I saw this, because again, I didn't watch any wrestling on Wednesday night. When I saw this on Twitter, I'm like, what is Ricochet teaching that woman? Because again, I'm still happy because for a while there wasn't much posts about Ricochet and Casey, and I was kind of getting a little worried because I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I still think those two are so perfect for each other. It's like, it's undeniable. And when I saw this, my heart just melted. I'm like, that's awesome. Casey Catanzaro did some like 450, 720, I don't even want to call it, corkscrew, like Black Arrow type, maneuver that, Pac does, of course. But it was like facing backwards and spun around. It was sick. It was an awesome move. Like, Casey was already awesome, but she just like took that volume button and really turned it up like that and did that maneuver. And I marked out when I saw it. I'm like, holy hell, they deserve this victory. And I've been waiting to see those two, even just as single stars or whatnot, get a push. Like, if there's anyone in NXT at this point, based off of that move, well, I mean, they could go with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, but if there's anyone that I want to see now win the Women's Dusty Cup, it's definitely Casey and Caden. Like, babyface-wise, boom. And if they do, I hope they take the titles off of Asuka and Charlotte. Because, again, I am sorry. Why are Asuka and Charlotte a tag team? And why do they have the women's tag titles? But once again, pointless. This, though, feels like a team. This feels like a team. Casey and Caden, awesome. I love I marked out big time for that finish. What an awesome finish and a great moment for both Casey and Caden, for sure. We then see Finn Balor walk into Regal's office. He says he wants Pete Dunne, but he knows the game Pete's playing, so he has to take out Lorcan and Birch first. Regal understands, but he has to protect Finn from himself. If he wants to take on the Brit Arm Brawlers, then he has to find a tag team partner. But Balor's like, I don't have any friends. And then, but he can find a guy who plays air guitar to help him out. So obviously, basically, saying the thing of like, keep your enemies close to you or something like that. So he's going to go find Kyle O'Reilly. We then also have Bronson Reed head into the ring, and Isaiah Swerve Scott, again, who's teasing a heel turn. I don't know what's going on with him. Says something to him as he heads out there. And then we have a match with Bronson Reed and Tyler Rust, and Bronson Reed wins. Nothing more to say there. Finn Balor then heads to the Undisputed Era's locker room. he basically walks over to Kyle and he's like, first he comments about how if he can still, eat through a straw only, and of course, the arrow's about to, snap back at him, but he's like, no, wait up, what do you want? And then he basically looks at Kyle, he's like, you in or not? After a long pause, Kyle goes, he's in. So I guess that's next week or coming up soon sometime, we're going to be seeing Finn Balor team up with Kyle O'Reilly, taking on Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. But to get back to what I was saying earlier about Finn Balor's booking, Finn Balor, I feel like should just... When I said earlier, Finn Balor, again, is booked how Johnny Gargano should be booked. As like a tweener. I mean, he's not a full-on heel right now, but I still don't see him as being like a full-on purebred, oh, you guys are awesome, babyface. Balor's still in there for himself. As his character is. It's like how Becky Lynch is basically as a face. He's across the badass. But to me, I still feel Finn Balor should lean more towards the heel side. And Johnny should still be like on the babyface side, but more of like an aggressive babyface. So, I think it should swap roles somehow. But that's what I've always said about Finn Balor. And then we have this segment with Legado del Fantasma, who brags about how he's beaten all of his challengers, and he puts over Legado del Fantasma's win on 205 Live last week in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And I believe they took on the team of the Bollywood Boys, actually. Well, the same brothers. Bollywood Boys, whatever we call them. Who cares? I forgot about them. Anyways. Lucha House Party and Interrupt, and basically they brawl with Mendoza and Wild since they're facing them in the second round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, only for Kurt Stallion to come out and say to make it 3-on-3. I guess Kurt Stallion's apparently someone from 205 Live. I thought he looked like a younger Edge, where his hair was at, but we'll see what he does. Because again, like I said, 205 Live does not need to exist. They can do all this stuff on NXT. But what am I gonna say? So we got that, and then backstage, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick are being interviewed about their winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic on 205 Live, and we learn that their match with MSK is next week. Maverick steps in to answer Mackenzie's question, which seems to annoy Dane, but then Drake obviously thinks they're tighter than they really are. Again, just that whole weird stuff with that team, as I keep saying. We get an interview also with Lucha House Party and Kurt Stallion, but it was interrupted by the Legado del Fantasma as Escobar says he wants his match with the number one contender next week. And they also confirm that we're gonna have the tag match with Balor and O'Reilly taking on Lorcan and Burch, and 2 second-round matches: Dane Maverick versus MSK, and Kushida and Ruff versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. So I guess before we get to... Well, actually, let's talk about the main event first. Then we can get into the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic matches left, because this main event kind of led to some changes. So we have Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher in a fight pit, which was good, pretty physical. The finish was pretty nice. Tommaso Ciampa got his leg caught in the corner of the fight pit, and Timothy Thatcher used that to his advantage, took the other leg and wrapped it around his own head with a cage-assisted stretch muffler, and it led to Tommaso Ciampa tapping out, which is rare because besides Johnny Gargano at TakeOver New Orleans, when was the last time you got Tommaso Ciampa to tap out? It's been a long time, I gotta say. It may have been the first time since TakeOver New Orleans. I think that was the last time we got Ciampa to tap out, so that was big for Thatcher, because Thatcher needed that win. Again, I've continued to put over the fact how I enjoy the fact that they book Timothy Thatcher as this submission specialist. And I think it's great. I like that booking. But like I said, he needs to get some big wins. And one like this was a great start. So, praise them for that, but Thatcher needs to rack up some more wins. But then, in some exclusives, they were showing, of course, how, Ciampa was being nursed with his leg, and he was told that Desmond Troy and what was his name again? Desmond Troy and Ashante Adonis, that random guy who showed up at Halloween Havoc, or one of those episodes when I thought one of those either specials or episodes of NXT when I thought at first he was going to be a next number one contender for the Cruiserweight title. Who knows? Maybe he was on 205 Live. I don't give a crap. He was told that they were out of the match due to Karrion Kross's assault on Ashante Adonis. So that opened up a spot. So in exclusive, Ciampa found Thatcher out in the parking lot, and he asked, "Why didn't you break my leg?" He just looks at him and goes, "Respect." And then Ciampa says, there is an opening in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Cut there. Last night on 205 Live, apparently, I believe Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae of The Way defeated the one in their first round match. I think that's what it is. Let me double check that. 205 Live results. Actually, you know what? Let me go to Smarkout. Real quick. Smarkout, because they're usually my go-to for results, and of course for facing heel turns, as I always put. Go off of them usually for my turn alerts. Where is it? 205 Live results. Here we go. Come on. Okay, yeah, The Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeated Gigi Dolan, who's apparently Priscilla Kelly, and Cora Jade, whoever that is. And then Thatcher and Ciampa defeated Arya Daivari and Tony Nese. Interesting tag team, I will say, with Ciampa and Thatcher. I mean, I thought their matches were good, but my biggest gripe with it was, who was the face and who was the heel? Because Tommaso Ciampa should not be a face again. He should still be a heel. And that's another thing. With this tag team, I want them to be heels. They will thrive as a heel duo. But as faces, yeah. But we'll see where that goes. So, to look at both brackets, so far, I think that's because all the first round matches are done. Undisputed Era defeated Breezango. Thatcher and Ciampa defeated Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. So in round 2, it'll be Undisputed Era taking on Thatcher and Ciampa. And then Kushida and Leon Ruff defeated The Way. I still don't like that. And Grizzled Young Veterans defeated Everrise. So it'll be Kushida and Leon Ruff taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans in round 2. They're still my team to win. MSK defeated Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas, and Drake Maverick and Killian Dane defeated Kurt Stallion and August Gray. So MSK will take on Drake Maverick and Killian Dane in round 2. And then Legado del Fantasma defeated the Bollywood Boys, and Lucha House Party defeated Imperium. I still can't stand that. So it'll be them in the next round. I don't care about that match at all. I'm sorry. I literally don't care about that. The others, maybe. Because I'm intrigued to see what MSK does. Undisputed Era versus Thatcher and Ciampa could be interesting. And, again, Grizzled Young Veterans, they're still my pick to win. So, we'll see where it goes with that. And, so that's going to do it for my review, guys. Give it NXT a C+. Maybe a B-, but I was just not happy. Oh, I'm sorry. The women's bracket. So far, we've had Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeat Gigi Dolan, who's originally Priscilla Kelly, and Cora Jade. And Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter defeated Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. So we still have Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon taking on Marina Shafir and Zoe Stark. Where's Jessamine Duke? And Aaliyah and Jessie Camilla taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I'm hoping my pick to win this is definitely Casey and Kaden, especially after that that whatever move that Casey Catanzaro did, please have them win this. But yeah, C+ for NXT this week. In the live chat, we have what's up, Tyler from Tyler. He says that AEW is better than NXT. That's for sure. He's watching WCW Bash at the Beach in 1998. Nice. Also, again, we have JR. What's up, JR? Saying Lucha House Party on NXT or Raw or SmackDown. I don't know, and it's weird. Especially since Raw and SmackDown have no tag teams. So why are they in NXT? I have no clue. Well, they're feuding with Legado del Fantasma right now, which is weird. And 205 Live should definitely be on. I agree. But guys, that's going to do it. I got to get moving. I got to get my Five Guys burger, get cleaned up, get ready for my new girl to come over and meet my parents. I'm nervous about that. Oops, sorry. I was almost knocking out the green screen. Anyways, but I'm going to go take care of all that stuff, guys. If I have time later on tonight, and I'm out till like 11 o'clock or so, I will review SmackDown. But, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. So, C+ for NXT. What are your thoughts on NXT? And again, I have started watching NXT UK to start getting caught up on there. I'm only in December, though, so I will try to get that caught up. And then review what's been going on with NXT UK soon. There's some interesting things going on with NXT UK right now. So we'll talk about that sometime soon. But this week, though, coming up, focusing on the Royal Rumble and getting my recap and results from last year's Rumble matches into my retro series as well, and we'll go from there. So guys, C+ for NXT. What are your thoughts with NXT this week? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and your thoughts on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Who do you think is going to win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? Again, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment to my channel, and follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBoy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I will see you all later. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace out, everybody.